RPM Trade Vietnam. What's going on out there in the real world? I've been in my own world lately. I be trying not to even pay too much attention to. I used to think people were kind of crazy when they said don't pay attention to shit, and I'm always like, oh, you gotta keep your eye on their ass at all times. Which I do believe you gotta kind of pay attention because they got shit in store for us that if we don't see them coming, they will definitely win. You got to be attentive. You gotta take heed. Somebody, some people, something is trying to like rule the world and like be in control of all of the things that make this bitch go around. Everything that makes the world go around, and it is in control of how we perceive reality in general. Like from everything to this iPhone that I'm using to communicate with y'all right now. That came from somebody. That came from something. And the somebody and the something thinks that you owe them the control that they have over shaping the reality. You owe them some respect. You owe them your life's energy. You owe them praises. It really is a beautiful thing because anything could happen, but what actually happened to happen is this shit. The iPhone, the Chevy vehicle, the hybrid, electric, whatever y'all trying to do with all of that shit, bro. All of that. It is what it is that we use in our lives, and they really are giving humanity its story. But that come along with a bunch of bullshit too. I can respect it for being what it is and still realize that some things are wrong, and it don't even got to be wrong. It don't have to be like this. It can be like anything. People think that you get locked into certain things, government, the money system, religion, all this other shit, and you go, hey, this is how it is. It's not just how it is. This is what ended up happening, and it got this way because of something. And each day is connected to the one before and the one after it, motherfucker. It's a linear thing that we're dealing with when you're looking at your day-to-day life. I think that's part of what it is that they hide, and I think it's something deeper to that, deeper than that, to what's going on, time, or how we experience time, all that shit. But we'll get into that in a minute. But if you look at all of these distractions and what they got going on, it's crazy. I mean, the big oil, all the entertainment, sports, and all this other shit. These sports games were created by Masons. That just so happens to be true. You can look into it, man. It don't take too many of them. You look through, you research just a few of these things, and you go, damn, yo. None of this shit is arbitrary. It's not a random thing, for Major League Baseball to have like, what is it, 118 double stitches on it? Something like that. 118, something. Whatever the number is, it's intentional. Because they ritualistically and religiously make a Major League Baseball just like that. It just so happens to be the same number of beads on a Catholic rosary, and that's not arbitrary either. But out of anything that could happen, this is the shit that happens. So then you got to respect it for what it is. But keep in mind that anything in the world could have happened. Slavery could have been a global endeavor to share resources to reach a higher level of peace, togetherness, and unity on planet Earth, so that we can all get to the truth of what's going on. Is that we are all like these little bits and pieces of consciousness that's really related to something. Some people call it God, but then if you call this God Jesus, then you start framing it inside of something that you cannot contain. What I think the great consciousness or God is, you can't frame it as something like a religion. That's why every religion I go, even when y'all say something good, y'all are putting me inside of a framework to say that this is what absolutely had to happen, that is according to some plan and blah blah blah. And once you do that, then I go, no. All of this shit could have really been anything at all, and it will be any and everything, because we have nothing but eternity to deal with. All of this shit is going to be what the fuck it is. When you understand that, you accept your own death, because you know what that is. If you study the Tibetan Book of the Dead and the Bardos, help you get kind of, to me, it resonated with me because that's how I think about life and consciousness anyway, if you understand what the Bardos are. But when you reconcile all of this shit, bro, you start feeling free as fuck, bro. And then you start looking at the control like, oh, you in the way, bro. I'm 44 years old. I could have figured this out in my 20s, man, had y'all not been in the way. Y'all have been like fucking some shit up. I got lucky that I kind of found my way through what I think is, nobody's so enlightened that they need no more enlightenment, and that's not what I'm saying. But I do think that out of all of the intelligence that I can possibly muster, out of all of the smart things that I've heard other smart people say, I went to college, graduated college, I took some philosophy classes, had some art history classes. It's a beautiful thing what's going on inside of that, the human expression inside of art, in the history of it. The shit is important. If you know these kind of things, you start looking at people of other walks of life and say, bro, I think we are all on like this weird ass spiritual journey thing, and I don't care how cliche that the internet and the TV and shit try to make it sound to you, bro. Life is something. There's an answer to it, and I think that's the answer, and you should go in that direction a little bit. We are all one thing, bro. I don't care how cliche that shit sounds. Just the fuck we are. There's nothing else they could ever be but for us to all be one thing, right? The great consciousness. We're all like reporters, little antennas inside of this great consciousness, doing a great work for it. Actually, we are balancing out this great consciousness by losing ourselves in our individuality, the fear of death. All of that shit is illusionary. None of that shit is nothing, bro. It's nothing, and you can tell that to me. Let's get into it. Fuck it. Let's go all the way with this philosophical shit that I wanted to get into, because what I want to talk about is where I think our human imaginations and our minds and our energy should have been going on a global scale hundreds or thousands of fucking years ago, so that humanity can take on the assignment that it was given by even being these conscious antennas, so that we could all stand together and magnify that, because I think we would do something to the world that would be beautiful. And I don't care how utopian it sounds. I don't give a fuck. If my imagination can easily imagine a hell after watching all these fucking ring cam videos, all these shootouts and all this other shit going on, if you learn anything about slavery, it'll make you feel like something black or white. It's got nothing to do with that. It's a measure of where your humanity is when you examine slavery and the history of that. And not just of black people in America. I'm talking about anywhere at all. This is how the world moves. The world operates on slavery. It always has. We're not special because we were slaves and we was black and we was in America. It's not a special thing. It's special because they make you say that it's special to you, because this is the box that you're in, so this is what you care about, and fuck everybody else. But I care about all of the slavery, bro. All of it. It just so happened to be the mode of operation for planet Earth, bro. They always do it. They always do all of the slavery, man. It's how they do things, okay? And you face that, you'll lighten up about the racial thing, and you'll say, what's the highest form of moral positioning that I can gather in all of this? And understanding your slavery is recognizing that it's a global thing that always has been and probably always will be. And that's how you stand up on it. You stand up on it from a racial issue, they laugh at you. They go, you are divided, and that division will not win. You better talk to me about the slavery of planet Earth, or no one's going to hear you. You divide yourself off from people that might want to listen to what you got to say. But if you go, black slavery, boy, man, it's tainted, bro. You can't talk like that. You got to get to a higher level, a higher moral position when you talk about any of this shit. If you express the division inside of what you got to say, they laugh at you. They got a formula for your ass. If you do that, they know where you are, what to do to provoke you and all of that, what to do to scare you and all of that. Stop doing that part. Don't do that part of it. I'm not a gun rights activist because I'm black. What I say is fucking true no matter who said that shit. I don't give a fuck. If an Asian man refuses to say it, I'll call him an Asian fool. He should say it too. It ain't for me because I'm black. It's for us because it's the truth. Figure y'all shit out, right? This is what we have to do. Let's get into the philosophical shit, bro. What all of this political shit is distracting us from is realizing the power in the fact that we are conscious antenna to something on assignment. The best way to create, there's two sides to this. Let's go this way first. Let's go from a humanitarian position. I don't think that there's anything that they tried to gain in war that we could not have gotten in peace. And slavery was more like a global effort to gather resources, to stand together as as humanity, so that we can create the most peaceful, open, educational, free global society that we could have. And we could have just done that hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. I think that level of positivity will bring out the best of humanity. And I don't know why the fuck that sounds like too much of a good idea, like it's too much to ask for. No, it's not, because any of this shit could have been any of it. It could be anything at all. It just happens to be this shit. A utopian society sounds crazy to some people. I think that it's damn well fucking possible. And if it ain't possible, I think reaching for it don't even make me bad for reaching for it. I'm going to insist on it. How's that? That's what I do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to insist on it. A utopian society. Yeah. But I don't think we'll ever get it, because people can't recognize the importance in that enough, because you got to survive. You got to go to work. You're depressed. You ain't got time to focus on this shit. You're trying not to one yourself. Right? We're all lost in all of these distractions, all of this bullshit, bro. On my most peaceful, clearest days of reflection, appreciating my life, appreciating my kids, on the days where I can do that and just kind of look around in the world and just say, I don't care how bad it is, I'm just happy to be here. I don't care how bad it is. I accept it. I accept the bad. I accept the good. I can't change it all. I really don't care. I care, but I don't care, which is, I think, is one of the greatest tricks that the human consciousness even plays on you. I think that you're supposed to care about everything and then care about none of it. You got to recognize it, then say, and I don't give a fuck. You got, there's something about caring and then saying that that just makes me feel good, because I mean the both of them. And the I don't give a fuck is an accepting of the fact that I can control me. I can't control everybody else. I can influence. I better be a positive influence. Wouldn't that be the better thing to do, to be a negative influence? I've been through shit in my life, but I'm not so broken that I would find enjoyment out of bullying people or hurting people for dumb reasons. People who do that to people, whether it be financially, physically, or whatever, y'all are crazy, bro. It's just craziness. But I think the environment kind of harbors that kind of fight or flight reaction, greed, selfishness, the desire for power and control. I think all of that is being bred by the environment that humanity has created. Something that is that in the realm of possibility just so happen to be what it is that we're dealing with. But I think if we recognize that, it's like being like in a Mexican standoff, if y'all know what that is. And then everybody making it out. How would everybody make it out of a Mexican standoff? Somebody's got to be a voice of reason to paint the picture of what's going to happen if anybody fires a shot, and how none of that is necessary. And that if everybody got into whatever this conflict that they're in to win something, how about we all stop right now and start reaching so that everybody can get a little piece of a win and leave this fucking place? Because that's way better than any of us firing a single fucking shot. If there's a voice of reason, you have a fucking chance, right? We've been in a Mexican standoff between races, between countries, between governments, all over planet Earth for all of this fucking time. I can't expect anything out of that kind of environment but the bullshit that we're dealing with, which is a big distraction to the whole fucking point in the first place. I recognize enough in my own soul's journey to know that I better stay the fuck out of everybody else's way at all costs. Whenever I can, recognize that and then stay out of people's way. I can't be the bully, the bad guy, the guy that's hurting somebody. The guy that people dread to see when I come around. That would be crazy. Why would I manifest that in my life and my path when I know it don't got to be like that? I think planet Earth tweaking, bro. Don't none of that shit really be this serious. They should have showed up on these shores of the western shores of Africa, if this is even how it happened, and said, yo, we come down here with a plan. Y'all got the resources, we got the plan. Let's work together. No one has to die about this. We're going to share it evenly. We're all going to enjoy building this better humanity where we can build a level of comfort, we can tinker around with the technology, the medicine, and all this other shit for the greater good of everybody. Because if we can soften the environment enough here that we can harbor a great majority of generations now and into the future, we need to harbor for them safe places where they can enjoy their soul's journey, question that shit, be highly educated in the functions of physics, medicine, and everything. And we can get a generation where it's like, almost all of you motherfuckers are suited to be very, one of the most important fucking things that it would take to run this fucking planet. All of you little fucking kids, this is crazy. Almost all of you are suited to be that. It's not just 1 in a million or whoever the fuck Elon Musk thinks that he is, or whoever they're trying to portray him to be. Who knows how real any of that shit is? Fuck that dude. But why is that not the common thing? Why is what they think they want us to perceive him as, why is it not the common thing? Why is it not the fucking common goal to fucking make it common? Why we all not saying that? Let's do whatever we gotta do to get a generation where 80% of you motherfuckers are geniuses, bro. What are y'all kids gonna be like? I bet y'all save the world. I bet y'all will push all of the negativity to the side to do what I would think AI would do. To say what is the best way to get the greatest effort out of humanity and to create the best environment on planet Earth with zero violence. Put that in the fucking equation. What can we do to get all of that without the violence though? That's the plan. AI ain't thought of this. AI would see government as the fucking most violent, unnecessarily violent to itself and outsiders. It's a whole violent fucking game, a charade actually. Government versus government is the elite fucking using these governments as fucking policing agents over fucking countries so that they can move their chess pieces around and know that there's a hierarchy to which we can't even see the fucking peak of. Because no one knows who the fuck they are. Get the fuck out of here. All of this shit is distraction, bro. It's an elaborate mind game because they know that your imagination is wide open. They're going to fill it with their bullshit. They don't want you to be using your imagination to say simple shit that I've said. What's the best way to get whatever these elite and planet Earth are trying to do here? What's the best way of doing that without the violence? There's an answer. It can't just be one man. I couldn't fucking fix it. I couldn't even give you all of the right answers to even guarantee that my plan would be less violent. I bet you it would be, but to what degree, I don't know. It wouldn't be zero. I don't know. I don't know what that would be like. But I know damn sure that we deserve to be reaching for that. Whatever they want, minus the violence, what does the plan look like now when you minus the violence? If they can't figure it out or won't talk about it like that, why are they ruling anybody? I couldn't trust somebody who wants to be a leader or a ruler and they go, our best tool is a fucking bomb. Nuclear, no less. And if anybody else wants one, we'll fuck y'all up, bro. Don't try to match me either. Bro, this is who y'all praise. You know, when I look at y'all like y'all are crazy, y'all go, what's wrong with you? It's America. Ain't this where you born? Don't you like that? Man, that's all distraction. They gave y'all a game and said, hey, accept this. When it could have been anything. When all of this shit could have been anything. It happens to be this and they say love it. We put it here like this and we're going to drive this bitch off a fucking cliff later. We got the parachute and the hang glider. You got nothing. Gave you a Bible and a flag. Good luck. That's what they gave you. People running this fucking country don't give a fuck about that flag. You're watching them dump it all the time. You watching them do the opposite of, and that's an illusionary game. They gave y'all an illusionary game to say government's going to rule you. Shit might get violent. The violence is going to turn towards you, from government to you. Where everything the police say to you, there's an inherent death threat to you. Inside of that, I don't give a fuck if you don't want to remind yourself of it every single time you see a cop. It just happens to be true. Your ignorance or not paying attention to that shit doesn't make it untrue. Every sight of a cop that you know that you see, when you sight a cop, you know. There goes a man or a woman who could either fabricate or hit you with something that you weren't really aware of or that you might not want to go along with. They can hit you with orders, edicts, and threats and all type of shit that'll change your day or change your life. And they're willing to kill you about it. And your ignorance is no excuse and all of that type of shit. And if you look at these law books of what it is that they got going on, you know goddamn fucking well you don't know what they're doing. You know, you don't know what they doing. You just praise them anyway. You know what they got to do through their fucking career to fucking be good at what they do? It's very obvious that they have knowledge about something that you don't. You don't know if they're breaking their own laws or rules or nothing. To allow this to go on with so much control over everything that we call life, it's crazy, bro. I lose myself in a distraction as well. We're all being distracted. I know I'm lost in a distraction, but I say it all the time. Y'all heard me say this before for years. I should be in a meadow with grass to my fucking shoulders, learning foreign languages and painting a self-portrait while my kids play tag and hide and go seek in the grassy meadow. That's where my mind be. I can't do that. I'm out here on the streets with a load of AR-15 telling them to leave me alone. Why? Why? I know goddamn fucking well I don't want to do that. Look at where they got you, though. Look at where they got me. This is crazy. I can't chill. They won't let me chill. I know what the chill looks like. The chill looks like the philosophical fucking wandering of my mind, feeling like I'm not being distracted by the game down here. I'm thinking, what would I be thinking or doing if everyone left me alone and none of this was anything at all, if nobody was bothering me? My mind will go somewhere. It will feel like something. It will begin to ponder certain things and explore certain things. What would those things be? First things first, what the fuck is this shit? Why do I feel like I'm in here, but I'm in here, not of here? Why do I feel like that? Man, they don't teach you to even think like this in school. They tell you that Abraham Lincoln freed the slave, and he ain't freed no fucking slaves, bruh. Stop it. They'll even tell you that he freed the slaves and then go into the Emancipation Proclamation and some other things, and then low-key be telling you, not exactly. But he freed the slaves, because then they ended with that too. And then you go, okay, well, I guess he freed the slaves. And they go, yeah, you got that right on the test. You passed. Yeah. You didn't pass all, you stupid. And then they do that to you. In the schools, bro, total hypnosis, bro. They totally hijack your whole shit. Say, here's the game. Here's the history that we fucking forced, that we created. And they want to tell you only the good parts of the fucking story. And the bad parts, we're going to make you accept it because, hey, you want to omelet, you got to break some eggs, okay? We bombed the pan twice. They tried to apologize. They told us that they give up. They waved the white flag. Boom, second bomb. Like, yeah, but fuck Japan, bro. Go America. Like, what you want me to do? What do you want me to do? My hands are tied. Oh, I'm out of office. I'm resigning, or my term's up. Good luck, y'all. And then they leave. And then the next one steps in and go, fuck that guy. And then you go have dinner with him. Then they go have dinner with him. They go on campaign runs, right? These candidates. And then when they decide to drop out of the race, they start telling all their voters, hey, man, if I was y'all, I would go with that guy. And then you've been talking shit about that guy for a year and a half. Now you're going to tell me, go over there, why aren't you, and tell me a real politician who really meant fuck his ops, if he was out of the fucking race because he ran out of money, he wanted to get out of there, someone didn't want to do it no more, he'd go, y'all out, man. If I couldn't be y'all president, I think y'all fuck, peace. Fuck all them niggas. Like, that's how a real candidate leaves the fucking presidential run, by saying, man, fuck them, bro. Y'all not getting me? Good luck. Everyone's gonna fuck y'all shit up except for me. That's what y'all been saying. The whole campaign run, bro. I don't trust y'all. Please stop talking to me. All of this is crazy. I wanna go, I wanna be where my mind goes when I stop listening to y'all. When I stop caring. That's where we should be. Let me pay attention to my chat here. Who in this bitch? What up, Greenbox? Greenbox Media said this dude is wise beyond his years. You know, you know what's crazy? I really do be starting to feel like the whole reincarnation thing. I'm not saying that I remember like past lives, but I do be going through things in life sometimes that I get this clarity and acceptance of things so quickly, and then I place them where they're supposed to go so quickly that I think where other people either quiet themselves or have to revisit a life lesson or something over and over again before they go, it clicked. Sometimes it take people 7 fucking times. That shit be taking me 1 or 2 times, or I will vicariously live something through other people or something, and I go, mentally fucking noted, bro. Fuck, I see you. When my peoples, when I was growing up, was telling me, yo, this shit'll get you in prison. Prison ain't no life for nobody. Your uncle went to prison. Blah, blah, blah. Cousin went to prison. I see all this shit. I went, no, no, no. selling dope, hurting people. I want nothing to do with it. Like it was real easy for me to know that I wasn't gonna, you know, take that path. I try to be, when grown people talk to me when I was a kid, I try to listen, bro. I try to sincerely listen. I was the good kid that would listen to some shit. But I also try to project. Everybody projects. This is what's crazy. Everybody does the things that would actually guide you through life, but the way government and religion got you going, like they put you in a framework. So what could easily be your compassionate, considerate, natural response to human, you know, other human beings, were turned into like potentially divisive things and stuff like that. But what I try to project onto other people is the things that I think about of myself so often. Open-minded, intelligent, deserving of the truth, deserving of the fucking freedom. You might bring some truth and freedom and wisdom inside of a package that people don't see or understand, but fuck that. That's why I don't judge people by the way they look. I stopped judging gangbangers and young kids in the streets that carry guns and do what they do. I stopped judging because I started putting myself there, and I went, if you're wrong, you're wrong. But if I were you in that environment, could I make a better choice than what you're making? I go, I don't know. I don't know if I can make a better choice being you all the way like you are, and then being confronted with these choices that you got to make in life. Guy fucking killed your cousin 2 weeks ago in front of you. You survived. You took a shot. You got out the hospital. There's a threat in the street still. You started carrying a gun. You kind of scared, and you kind of mad too. Bro, if that was me and you poor and you... your parents didn't educate you, you ain't been in a fight or flight mode since you was a young kid, you got all this childhood trauma and shit, and then you grew up in your adolescence and go through this stuff, bro, the environment is going to produce certain opportunities to get you to break away from a path that should be kind of predictable, and it is. I had to stop judging them, bro. I had to start seeing a slightly bigger picture. Not get lost in the fact that I think that was dumb and that I would try not to do that, or that I know that who I am when put into this particular moment in your life that I might have saw on a ring cam, I couldn't did what you did. Boy, if you was him, you would have. And once I started feeling like that, I went, I got to stop judging people and just accepting life is just being kind of violent, and sometimes niggas gangbang. I just started accepting it, like, bro, especially inside of myself, right? Talk about the wisdom, like, I be trying to pay attention to life so sincerely, bro. And I realize, even though the racial divide is crazy, I only really deal with it when I have to defend who the fuck it is I am about it. That's the only time I really care to talk about it, because I think that it is worth defending. But it's not worth promoting myself as a black gun rights activist. I think that shit is silly, but you're not gonna call me nigga and get me to go, hey man, the worst. I'm probably gonna at least tell you something about yourself. I'm gonna express how I feel about your intellectual observations on planet Earth, that this is where you want to take this, into the negativity, into some superiority, when you don't even know me and I'm probably a better person than you. This is entertaining. So then I jump in, right? Then I tend to go for it. But what I really noticed, which has been the greatest internal defense to the entire division, is not only do I recognize, you know, the power of environment in other people's lives, I realized that growing up the way that I did, the things that I got into in high school and shit that I seen in the streets and shit that we got into during the summer times, oh my God, we would get into mob fights with other kids from other neighborhoods, you know, few blocks away. Sometimes these neighborhoods weren't that fucking far away. These blocks weren't that far away, and we would get into it. Sometimes over like petty things. Somebody stole somebody's little brother bike, and now they trying to get the bike back, and they refuse to get a bike back, acting like it ain't their bike. And now the older brothers want to fight, but one of the brothers got jumped by like 3 of the friends about the fucking bike. He want his little brother bike back. And then sometimes those little things, and we 15, 16, 17 years old, it turns into big stuff, man. Sometimes it does, when people go click up and get their friends and shit. Now, one friend on one side of this conflict is known to carry a knife or even a gun, and people say, we not backing down and we'll see your gun. We got 2 now. Like, we not playing with y'all, bro. Like, it can start over little things, but like, there's this potential for it to carry on. And we got involved in things like that in my adolescence, and it could have been bad, man. And there's some things that kind of happen, you know, close range, you know, in close proximity. Is like, oh man, one event send us over the edge, man, and life will never be the same for anybody. How are we going to respond to this? How do we respond to these kind of things, right? So I went through some of that in my adolescence, and what I realized that was so eye-opening to me, not just in the racial divide, but in life in general, because this is a truth that's true no matter who's going through it, no matter who says it. It is just actually true. But my perspective on life and my own potential was shown to me in what happened when I graduated college. When I graduated high school in Freeport, Illinois, and came to Cedar Rapids to attend Cole College. Changing that environment from this ghetto ass fucking small ass town, an hour and a half west of Chicago, Freeport, Illinois. As ghetto and as kind of rough this town was and still is. And for the potential and like brushing up against very dangerous things, life-changing things that I went through, and we, my cousins and brothers and shit went through growing up there. I just happened to shake that shit and nothing happened, and I left and went to college, and changing my environment from that Freeport shit to the college environment, Cole College, this liberal arts college with a homey ass warm campus, and all of these rich kids going to the school. My mom was still getting food stamps from my siblings when I attended the school, bro. Poor as fuck, hood, right? Had to pay for all the college myself. And that was a battle. I was almost kicked out of school multiple times simply based off of owing tuition, and it had to scramble to fucking work. My grades suffered for as much as I had to work to pay for school, and then once I would pay, and then once I was paid, I get back to my studies and bring my grades up, and whew, fuck. It was a crazy juggling act to get all of that shit popping. But coming from that and then going to that college environment, the environment in and of itself completely changed my entire perspective. I stopped feeling like things in the streets or the black hole vibe that Freeport, Illinois really has over everybody there. And I still see people suffering from it. This place is a black hole. There's something special about Freeport, Illinois that's especially negative. What a negative, shitty fucking place to be. I cannot express it enough. When I do my open carry demonstration documentary on my life and how I became this gun rights activist that I am, I'm gonna give a little piece of Freeport to y'all, and I'm gonna go there, record, film, do some interviewing, and explain to y'all, like, and tell some stories and shit too. Explain to y'all, different things that happened in my childhood growing up in Freeport. Y'all gonna be like, bro, for you to get out of there and then be who you are, how the fuck did you do that? The environment captures people, and it didn't capture me. And I'm glad that I got up out of there, and going to college gave me a 180. I've always been the observant, artsy, smart kind of a kid. But once I went to college and my attention and environment was completely consumed inside of this academia, man, bro, that's when I knew. That's when I knew environment is way more powerful than what people are giving it credit for. People get lost in this racial divide, like niggas have to be like this or like that, or like all white people are like this or like that. Man, environment will always supersede racial or genetic influences on who a person is. Environment is so fucking critical that if y'all can't put that at probably the highest, a psychologist will tell you that this is the highest form of influence of the environment, and not just environment, but I mean from home life to educational system of some kind to educate the child, or the balance of love and discipline, and how a fragile child can be inside of that. Everything, man. It's these fucking ghetto gospel ideas on how to discipline a child, how to raise a child, what to do. This idea that if you just let a kid just cry it out in another room, then they kind of learn to self-soothe. Like, that's fucking damaging. You got to balance that shit with something that the child can understand. You can't hit a child with that kind of a thing at such a young age when they can't understand. You let a kid cry it out when they understand consequences and they can articulate things. And once you've articulated or set boundaries or a framework or a remedy to their problem and they still cry, that's when you tell a child that's 3-4 years old, you're gonna cry the rest of that out of here. But if you're talking about using that same psychology on an 8-month-old child that can't quite walk yet and you're just tired of hearing them crying, you're out of your mind. That creates a sense of abandonment inside of a child that psychologically they never shake that shit. And then you wonder why these grown-ups are all fucking weird about crazy shit. Can't take a breakup, right? In a world full of fucking people, you can't take a breakup. You could have been in love with a million fucking people. You had to happen to fall in love with this one, and then a broken heart makes you off your wife, the kids that y'all got together. Hey, you are psychotic. It's a hypnosis, bro. Your mind is wide open to be used. Religion and government will love to jump in there and fill it with shit. They use the music and all type of shit. It's hypnotic, yo. You go inside of a grocery store, right? I go inside a grocery store. I almost sometimes have to play my own shit in my headphones. I gotta play something, because if I don't, I know what's gonna happen. I'm going to either be actively listening to the lyrics of a song playing in the grocery store, or subconsciously it's gonna get inside of it. And then I leave the grocery store feeling all sentimental about my girlfriend, feeling like light on my feet and almost like kind of in love again, and like wanting to express my love for her and all this type of shit. And the whole time I got an 80s love song stuck in my head. 2 hours later, and I go, where's this song coming from? All of a sudden, I'm going, take on me. And I'm just like, why is that in there? Huh? Because I like the song, right? But it was playing in a fucking grocery store 2 hours later. This song is in my head, and I'm feeling some type of way about my girlfriend right now. Like, the shit is crazy. The music is hypnotic. So when the music is hypnotic, expect that whoever's in control of that is in a position to play with your shit. They're gonna play with your mind in a little bit. You gotta expect it. Once you know you expect it, you can listen to the music and go, well, with this opportunity, what is it that you've done? Actually, when you listen to it, then you go, oh yeah, y'all got a little bit of whistleblowing truth inside of the music as you really listen to it. There's some predictive programming inside of the music as you really listen to it. There's some confessions inside the music as you really listen to it. There's some social engineering inside all of this shit. They do it with the diamond market, or the way they even marketed diamond as a wedding ring choice, and all of that. Hollywood and shit had motherfuckers think, man, if this nigga didn't put a diamond ring on your finger, he don't even love you for real, shorty. Like, had women feeling like that for real, for real. You know, right around this, right in the midst of all of the women's liberation and all of this kind of shit, it just all kind of developed in this way. It's a lot of social engineering, though. They got women out into the workforce, and then they broke the fucking family up and started taxing hella more people, right? That's what actually happened. You can call it what you want, but it's not the whole story. What actually happened is the shit that I just said, too, along with your women's liberation. Congratulations. You're a tax cow now. Huh? And you just left your kids till you pay for the daycare, you go to work, and 60% of your fucking daycare, your earnings go to the daycare so somebody else can raise your kids. You tweaking, you bugging. And then when you tell people that there's a natural sense of like the roles inside of a household that will better balance the natural flow of growing with your young child, bonding with your young child, being. Well, we got, okay, here we go. All right, we back. Okay. Yeah, yo, what was I just saying? Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat. RIG, motherfucking Cody, Gematria Effect News in this bitch. What up, Zach? What was I just talking about? I'm tangential as fuck, but everything is related to me. That's why I don't care about being tangential. I don't care. I think it's funny, kind of. I think it's kind of telling of the point of everything that I'm trying to say is that all of this shit is connected. The JFK assassination, the moon landing, Michael Jackson, and the whole Moonwalker nickname and all of that shit. All of that shit is connected, and it's got something to do with Prince, and it's got something to do with motherfucking Jimi Hendrix, and it's got something to do with Halliburton and fucking 9/11. All this shit is motherfucking connected because they got to give you the juicy narrative of this path of the human experience on planet Earth. With all of the shit that they give you, they got to give you all of that so that you never really realize that you are literally. The CIA just said this shit, did they not? The CIA said this, didn't they? The CIA said something about we're in a simulation or something. Their life is that we're in reality is inside of a simulation. First of all, I didn't need the CIA to fucking tell me that. I fucking knew that. What's crazy is that very much in the same vein as other examinations of what the truth might be in humanity, as far as like people realize the truth and then you express it in the ways that you can with the language at the time, with the expressions at the time, and you can only really relate certain things to what it is that you can see clearly, that you have an example of, or that you can at least take your imagination in that angle to have that perspective, right? So when they say Jonah was eaten by a whale, swallowed by a whale or something, whatever the story is in the Bible, some people say they didn't know how to say submarine. It was a fucking submarine. Maybe. Is that possible? It kind of makes sense, don't it? It makes more sense if this motherfucker going through the physical mouth of a whale, if you know what kind of whale it's supposed to be, and what the inside of a whale's mouth and belly looks like, that to think that a man will go in there and come out is just like, let's be for real, that's not what it was. I don't care how unlikely it might be to somebody else that was a submarine way back then, but it sounds like it would make more sense if it was a submarine than a real fucking whale. And that's just an example though, right, of what I'm trying to say. So when people say, or even the CIA says, the world is inside of a simulation, we instantly start thinking, well, who made the simulation? Because you're thinking in technical terms, because a simulation to us is a video game kind of a thing. We're just a reflection of this creative energy. So of course, in conscious or unconscious awareness of the macrocosm, we will in ourselves repeat what it is, because this is where it's come from. So of course we will create false realities, we will create simulations, we will create little entities that's a reflection of us but won't be us, kind of like Stan Lee in the Marvel comic universe. The Hulk can't look for and then find and then meet Stan Lee. He is of Stan Lee. Everything that the Hulk is Stan Lee, but he is not completely Stan Lee. Stan Lee is the entire Marvel universe. You see what I'm saying? So when we look for what we think God or the creator is, and we look in the opposite direction to see what it is that we have done and we created, then you have to say we're an echo of something where we came from. The echo that precedes us, that follows us, is going to be in the same vein. And what is it that we do? We give life, we take the life, we show the love to the greatest degrees, and then we show all of the pain and the hate and the violence to the greatest degrees. Everybody on both sides are trying to reach for more violence and more love. We create the simulation, we create the video game, we create the avatar. We do the Stan Lee thing. We do the Stan Lee thing to ourselves. Tell me you're not 6, 7 people. Yeah, the fuck you are. When you talk to your child, especially if you got a little child, you talking in the baby talk, boy, who the fuck are you, right? You're a father. Google Gaga baby talking a baby, and no one will call you crazy for acting like that. You see what I'm saying? It's just who you are over here with this one, the baby, right? Fair game. You're not crazy because of your tone of voice and what you're doing when you Google Gaga talking to your baby, bro. When you talk to a man that might be preparing to kill you, you are different. That's not how you talk to your mother. Who are you when you talk to your mother? That's a whole nother person, bro. There's a relationship, a bond inside of that. This is a relationship in a history that you have. Somebody's gonna reflect where you psychologically take yourself when you're dealing with the person, bro. Strange is all the same. We're 1,000 fucking people, right? But inside of that, what we're really looking at, what we're really dealing with, man, is the human expression. It's a beautiful thing, and it's not arbitrary. It is for something. It is not for going to work every day to help feed somebody else's fucking dream, to do this fucking bullshit, to do what, bro? Because you're trying to sell like Cheetos. That's what the fuck y'all doing? This is blowing my fucking mind, bro. I think that we are all like wasting like mad energy on like weird, petty, stupid, greedy, harmful shit that is like, man, that energy should have been spent on something else. What are y'all trying to get with that bullshit that we couldn't have got with some love, peace, honesty, health, transparency, fairness, love? All that shit can get this other shit. It'll just be for you and everybody else. And there's plenty to go around, bro. Resources and all that. The earth is bleeding this oil. They act like it's a crisis every fucking decade or two. Crisis, shut the fuck up, bro. With your just stop talking to me, bro. Just stop talking to me. I just want them to just shut the fuck up. Y'all keep talking about government shutdowns and shit. On their terms, it's not a government shutdown. It's a government shutdown and we tell them to get the fuck out of there. Now you got my attention. Shut down on their terms, that's to their benefit on some level. They're not doing that shit to hurt themselves or to free you. Stop it. If they're not falling on the sword for you or freeing your ass with a government shutdown or nothing else that the government does, and I don't care, I don't want to hear it. Whatever it is probably emotionally driving you into a position of a greater fucking control over your fucking ass. Because there's nothing else you should ever fucking expect out of an environment like that with them. With them? Y'all act like y'all forget who the fuck y'all talking to. The same dark energy that Smoke Kennedy is still here doing all of this other shit. Trust in politics is kind of psychotic to me. It's very psychotic. It's kind of weird. I just did an open carry demo Saturday. I recorded to my phone because the live streams, they be striking that shit, man. YouTube not playing about the sight of a fucking firearm. It's on me in enough way. It's on me. I'm not handling it, but it's on me. And I'm in public. YouTube was like, man, get the fuck out of here with that. Because they don't want me to do something on the live that they can't take back. Meanwhile, I've seen countless dead bodies thanks to YouTube and IG. Thank you. I've never seen somebody die in front of me before in real life. The number of bodies that I've seen drop through fucking social media that's supposed to be protecting me with the censorship, bro, it's psychologically, a psychologist would probably say, it's not exactly healthy. How many of these videos did you watch in the past hour? Ooh, Trey, don't do that. That's what a psychologist would probably tell me, not to do that. Thank you, IG. Thank you, YouTube. You guys are some bitches, bro. Y'all some bitches with the censorship. I don't believe you that you really want censorship, right? But because of that, I had to, I'm recording these motherfuckers to my phone and uploading them later. All right. But I did the live stream Saturday. I mean, I did the video Saturday, recorded to my phone. And a woman pulls up. She waited for me for a long time because I was already talking to a guy too. She waited for me for a while. I thought she was gonna pull up. So I had to tell Buddy, I'm like, she been waiting here for a while. I gotta address this woman. I can't believe she's still here. I had to look over my shoulder. Yeah, she's still parked right here, waiting for me to come to the car. I guess she's not getting out. So I said, you can come out here. I can come to you. You don't mind if I approach your car? She goes, no, come on. So I approached the car, and she's a Trump supporter, talking about how important the Second Amendment is, and how she supports what it is that I do. So I got into the politics when I told her I am not a Trump supporter. I think Trump has said some stuff that goes against the Second Amendment. No one notices, and no one notices because he's not trying to smash the fuck out of it. So you let him get bobbled a little bit because he means to protect you. That's what he says, and you're convinced of it. And then he said, let me get a little piece though. Right? Let me get a little piece of it, right? So then he'd try and get a little piece of it. And I told her that that's bad. I don't trust none of them. I wouldn't vote for my mama for president. And that I'm not a Second Amendment advocate. I'm a gun rights activist. It's very natural what it is that I'm doing, that I don't need government's help. Their position will never help me because I already have the right. Their position can only take it from me, and then and they got a conduit to take it from me with the expectation that I won't fight them. It's called the Constitution and the laws. And they told me meet them in a court of law, and they said that if they can beat me there, then I have to agree that they have an expectation that I take the loss without physically fighting anybody, and that we do have others. We can put another candidate into office, or we can tell them that they're all fucking fired, and then change the system so that the way a new system would be set up, not only would it be harder for people to violate us and take advantage of us in these positions of power, that punishment becomes a little bit more common for the ones that do violate. Punishment just be hitting their ass, and so that anybody else who steps in, they know that they're stepping into potentially in front of a fucking freight train of justice. If they get in there and violate, they should all know that. But they all get in there knowing that they're going to get richer than they ever been in their fucking lives, and that no one's going to do a fucking thing about anything that they do in there because they're covered. They're made men. This is what people get into politics and start feeling like. They don't feel like they better do right, or else this job is going to get them killed. They came to serve the public. None of them can talk to you like this is what it is that they accepted when they got in there. None of them can even say that. And you know it. Name one that could. Stop. Don't lie to me. Lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. Right? You know what the truth is. So stop. Don't be a bitch about it. Right? Inside of all of that, I find distraction, control, bullshit, intolerable influence over my soul's journey that I take great offense to. I will never ever forgive them for clouding my childhood with all of the social engineering, the bullshit education, the domino effect of the fucking Reagan's trickle-down economics and all of these other political things that could have been anything but happen to be what? This, systems of control based on conquest of resources that is best fucking understood between conflicting sides in the midst of violence than what it would be language barriers and foreign papers and laws and documents. American laws and international bullshit always clashes. There's always been the language and culture barriers and a propensity for violence, mostly being led by the ones who stand the greatest chance to commit the fucking violence. Hence the fucking nuclear war, all of the Cold War shit, and the nuclear war shit, the nuclear arms race, and all of that other shit. They know what it is. They know what it is. They didn't find more better, fair, poetic, humanitarian ways to write international laws to entice people into a global control system. They said, man, we got the nukes and whoever else. If I don't have any audio, I'm just gonna end the live stream. I'm good now? Okay. I was about to end the live stream. Yeah, I guess when it glitches, I guess it pieces itself back together one thing at a time, video and then audio or something. I don't fucking know. But what I was saying in the midst of it glitching and fucking up and shit is that I think instead of this I don't mean communism like everything needs to be shared. Communism works when government is in control and then everybody else gets an even like a fair serving of fucking poverty. That's what happens in communism. I don't mean communism like let's share the wealth and make it like communism. I mean that if, for example, I go into business, let's say I go into the clothing business, doing my merch and shit. Let's say I get a partnership with my son. Let's say I do a partnership with all my kids. If I do a partnership with all my kids, if I say, yeah, I got a partnership, all my kids work for me, and I give each of them 5%, then I'll take the rest. It's not a partnership. It's not a family business when it's like, I mean, a real partnership would be like, we split this shit even as possible from every fucking angle. You see my house, I don't know, you can't tell them I make more money than you. It don't even look like I make more money than you. It look like we're making the same money, bro. It don't even look like it. Everything is split even. I don't have a higher level of living, a higher, what's the word, standard of living than anybody else in the partnership because we all get the exact same money. That would be a partnership, you know, and there should have been a partnership on developing technology and distributing resources on planet Earth. But it's not though, and even governments are like they all in bed together to do one thing, and you know, they want to rule planet Earth, and the things that are going to really rule planet Earth are going to be who's ever in control of the medicine, the food, the water, the technology, and the weapons. Like, look to the people who dominate those industries, and you will see that they are all very much aware of the other people in these other industries, and they all work together because they realize they make this shit go around. Finances too, the banking shit and all of that, yeah, that too. But let me show y'all these houses out here. So like, I like going to like these nice houses in these like really nice neighborhoods and shit, and around Cedar Rapids. And I've always done this. I always try to like not sit around and be envious or wish that I had a house like this too, but I just started really telling myself that it's just a financial game. There's a game being played here. This shit ain't really reality like that. It's like, it's a game, and the game can be played, and that the game is not magical. It can just be played, and part of playing the game, not just a mechanical money game out here, is really a mind over matter kind of a thing, because none of this shit out here is being obtained by people who deserved it more than me because of who they are. It's something that they did, first of all, which could easily be something simple, something that I'm not, something that's not above me at all, or anybody else. I think I should have been rich 6 or 7 times in my life. I can literally, there's literal stories, you know, up here on the top of the hill and shit. Beautiful fucking neighborhood. But there's literal stories of different things that I have done, thought of, or conceived of that later on in life someone else did, and I went, oh man, that thought crossed my mind like 3 years ago. I should have been fucking rich. I should have chased that. I should have did that. So considering that on a surface level, and then considering the fact that I'm in full recognition of my role as a co-creator of my reality, I know that what it is I think, especially behind intent, action, and emotion, you manifest your whole fucking life. Everywhere that I am in my life, there's something that I've done to myself, consciously or unconsciously, because of where my heart and my mind is. And then you kind of create a reality for yourself, and then you look out into the world and you see everybody else's influences, and you say, hey, life just kind of happens to you. And it does kind of, but not really, only a little bit, because you really do manifest things on a social level and on a deep level for yourself. This is your life. You did that shit, right? I remember leaving my apartment for work one day, and I had manifested something. I had just kind of had this notion or this feeling about something, and I can't remember what the something was, but it was something really important in my life. It might have had something to do with the custody battle or something that I was in at the time or something. But it was something I was very emotionally involved in the moment, which is funny because I can't remember what that was. What overshadowed that was my recognition that I kind of felt like consciously and subconsciously, I kind of willed this to be true or to be what was happening in my life. And I remember what it is, and I'm not even gonna go into it. But I told myself out loud while talking to the girl that I was dating at the time, I said, I did that. That was a total manifestation that I did, because I said this and did this intentionally, then did this shit, but unintentionally it influenced everything else that's going on, and then poof, look at how this happened. Even when I was trying, and even the things that I was not trying to do, it all seemed to assist this. thing, being a real thing, the manifestation of what is happening in my life, I did that shit. And I told her, and I was like, there's no dogs allowed in this neighborhood where we live at right now. This apartment complex and on the grounds. There was no animals allowed, no dogs allowed. I was like, if there's no dogs allowed, what will be the chances that a black dog will run across this courtyard right here with a leash attached to it, that somebody from a distant fucking neighborhood has lost their dog, and I find the dog on property where no dogs are allowed? I said this to my girl, and I don't know what will make me just say that, right? I'm just saying like how wild it would be that no dogs allowed. I would be chased by the dog. I think that's what the story was, that I would be chased by the dog. Not that I would find the dog, but I would be chased by the dog because I was running to the bus stop, right? I go outside and I'm going down the stairs and I look to my left, there's a black dog running across the courtyard with a leash dragging behind it. And I go outside to get to the bus stop because I'm almost late to catching the bus, right? Standing there talking to her, I'm almost late to catch the fucking bus, so now I'm fucking moving fast. And I'm thinking, if I go out there and just run like I need to because the bus is coming, the dog gonna chase me. And I went, motherfucker, did I just do that 3 minutes ago? Now I'm out here doing this? Wanting to run for the bus, but don't want to run because then the dog gonna chase me. Crazy, right? I was like, I did that, bro. I did that shit. I did that, bro. And it was like these little constant reminders coming from some subconscious place into my surface level awareness, just going, yeah, nigga, like that, yeah, just like that. What up, Austin? Good to see you here, Austin. But yeah, man, I was blown away by that. I think there's some real power in that, man. And I think what's crazy is that the power is there, and I think we all kind of feel the power, but it's easy to let go of our grip on the power or flex and exercise the power the way it needs to be, because you got to nurture this manifestation power energy. You gotta nurture it. It can't be fleeting. It's got to be something that you got to work for and then show the universe that you have emotional possible, but the negativity works all the same. The universe don't give a fuck one way or the other about what's positive and what's negative. All that shit is subjective. But the universe will vibe to you if you vibrate with some sincerity in some direction. The universe gonna come talk to you about that shit. He gonna say, "Oh, you called?" People think that prayer is a way to do that, and prayer works because it harnesses all of the emotional intent into a very focused and sometimes audible. Sometimes people pray out loud. It feels better when you say something that's a goal or when you say something positive, but it works with the negativity, but it's more powerful to gain more of the positivity if the positive things that you have to do and say, you do and say these things out loud and with great example. If you do that, then you do give it more power. I can feel like I love my kids all day long, but if I don't say it all day long, there's something lost in the intent because I didn't say it out loud. Sometimes I can say I love my kids, and then I can feel the little jolt of happiness and how I feel about my kids just in saying it. And the kids aren't even around me right now. They're not even here. But it's something that kind of sparks with this quantum entanglement that you have. It's based on emotions, but there's a quantum entanglement between you and anybody or anything that can even entertain your conscious experience. If it entertains your conscious experience, there's an entanglement there. And when I even speak on my kids, it almost feels like the hug of it's almost like I can feel the last time that I hugged them just by speaking to them. It's almost a physical thing, and that's a beautiful thing. And if you recognize that, how can you not then project out into the rest of the world this desire for peace, love, education, full disclosure, justice, and all of that shit for the rest of the world? Why you can't project that when you know that's what you want for your kids? If you project that out into the world and you mean it, now you got the greatest shot of telling the world to leave you the fuck alone. Also, because you've done the greatest of good that you can do by trying to live that example of being like, bro, I'm not gonna fuck with you. I know you're somebody's child. Somebody feels about you the way I feel about my kids. You think I'm gonna come out here to hurt you, to bully you, to take something from you? No, the fuck I am not. I think the universe wants me to leave you the fuck alone. It's super simple, super easy. And if you can just relate all your introspective personal shit into a global perspective and then into a spiritual perspective to know that everyone else is a walking antenna being a fucking of the consciousness as well, it should be impossible for you to want to get over on them or hurt them. Like, I don't know how the two things can go together. A true understanding of that and then wanting to take advantage of and hurt somebody, you're a psycho. You can't even do both things. That's why when people do that, I know that there's something about existence that they don't understand, or else it would have been impossible for them to do what it is that they do. Whoever developed that nuclear weapon, that nuclear bomb, that atom bomb, Oppenheimer. Yeah, that was his name. Developed the atom bomb, and he knew that he could destroy worlds with that, and that it would be here after his death. And he don't know who's going to get their hands on it, what they're going to do to it, or if he agreed to it. But it's too late because he just gave the world something when he did that. That's kind of crazy to do that, for him to do that. And it's just kind of strange, the influence that he has on the world when he does that. And influence is a powerful thing, because you do something, you bump up against other people's conscious movements. The whole motion of the consciousness, the global consciousness, was tweaked in a way when he did that we'll never recover from. Can they even get rid of all of this nuclear weaponry? Can you get rid of it? Can you make it where there aren't anywhere in the world? I think you can only disarm them. And I don't know what they need to do to like actually rid the planet of it. But if you look at this one man, and of course he had a team of people, scientists and developers, and he might have created the idea and all of the science and mechanics behind it, but I don't know how much he actually physically created these weapons. There's a team of fucking people to make this thought. Starts as a thought first, and then develops into an emotional idea projected out of the mind of a man or a group of men, into physically making this a reality, just so they can say we could kill the fucking planet like over and over again with the shit that we've done. I think that's psychotic. I think it's psychotic. I think it's so crazy that a world that can't recognize how psychotic it is to even do that, and how it becomes an industry of distributing these things, and that these same people with these military contracts distributing weapons like, nuclear weapons and shit, also feel like they have something to say about the length of my AR barrel. I think all of that is so psychotic that part of me that has accepted my own death and understanding that we do live in a simulation, and by simulation I don't mean computer program, I said the great consciousness, the thought process and the neurons firing inside the great consciousness, the things that make up the great consciousness, we have nothing to compare that to but the simulations and computer games and shit like that we create, that's going to be in the same vein, in the same audible tones of the echo of the creator itself. Of course we're going to create like the creator. We're going to be a flow of a fucking echo, a vibration from where we came from, because there's nothing else for the influence. That's why we are up all of these things, including this idea of creating a reality that's so real that we can't tell if it's real or not. I think that's where we will inevitably go, because that's where we came from. It's just that the great consciousness is not mechanical. It's just how the great consciousness operates, and the only way that we can replicate that is through technology like this, like the simulations and a virtual reality and all these other video game type of things that we're doing. So when we say the world is a simulation, we only try to frame our imagination behind what it is that we have the example of, and then people lose this idea that it doesn't take, and it would not even include, an alien race of people making a simulation to trap our minds. Like it's like the brain in a vat. theory that that all of this could be created artificial realities into the brain that's in a vat, like that the evil genius, the evil scientist theory that no one knows inside of this idea of solipsism, which is the name of the philosophy. You don't know if reality is your projection and nobody else's, or if everybody is consciously, collectively projecting a consciousness, this reality, this world. It's a spooky philosophy to think that my consciousness is the only real one and everybody else is some kind of an NPC. And that reality is being manufactured by some evil genius scientists creating a reality inside of a brain that's in a vat that doesn't even have a body. What's crazy is that the human brain could lend you to that shit, and you'd be like, yeah, that's what it is. It could be true and you wouldn't know. That's what's scary about it. And people like to think because of emotional reasons that it's impossible. I happen to think that it's not impossible. I think it's just weird to tease reality in that way, to say that maybe that's what's going on, and I think it's funny that I can't tell, or that you can't tell. Yeah, I think that's weird. That's a weird philosophy, because once you think about it, you go, oh fuck, you got me. That's always going to be eerily like comical to me, that I can't tell if that's what reality is doing to me, because your brain makes you feel all of your senses. They're just reactions in the brain, and if you can artificially articulate these responses and shit inside of a brain, the brain doesn't need a body or need to even be there for real. You can just do that shit. And that's kind of weird. But that philosophy, as weird as it is kind of like, it's strange because that could be the truth, but at the same time, the alternative could also be true, that we're all collectively projecting a reality. But the idea that our brain, or that our reality is based inside of a simulation, some of the arguments that I've heard for it are fucking awesome, but it doesn't take a mechanical simulation for this to be true. I think what we see as a mechanical comparison, because that's what we do, I think we assume that an alien species or something, or a scientist outside of a singular perspective's control, is manipulating the reality, because then there's always a question of, well, where did the scientists come from? So I think to avoid having to reconcile an idea like that, you have to say that the great consciousness is a simulation, and that it's always been here, and this is what the eternity is, and nobody made it, or who gave birth to God, who's God's God, or whatever the fuck, you know, kids come up with these questions as children. I sure did. Oh, but there's an answer though. In the 7 Hermetic Principles, Hermeticism, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and all of these things could help you together, collectively, can help you try to formulate a sensible potential answer to all of these questions, because consciousness could not have come from a rock, for example, right? And nothing rises higher than its source. So that instantly tells me that consciousness has to be the eternal thing, which makes sense. But consciousness is more like PlayStation Network and the Wi-Fi system, right? And then your PlayStation is like your body, and then the government will be like the game developers who program the game and the rules and the graphics, any storyline, the other elements involved, all of the landscaping, all of the programming inside of one game, like Call of Duty. So they tell you that like Call of Duty and then Call of Duty Zombies will be like, you know, the religious side of it, but Call of Duty would be like the military side of it would be like the government side of it. you know, together collectively, you have like a Call of Duty game, Call of Duty series. You can take the whole fucking series if you want. But there's mechanics, expectations, predictable programming, expected upgrades, the rendering of the level as you move through it. The game only has to render what it is that the player can see at one fucking time. That's how big the game is. The game is only as big as whatever it is you can see at the time, and then it renders as you move through it. The world of possibilities out of everything that you cannot see, and as you get closer to things, the game kind of closely renders it, just like your eyes can better focus to see details and things the closer you get to it. This is what kind of helps this idea that we're inside of a simulation. And still, I still hear people when they talk about reality as a simulation, they still look at it in a mechanical caveman type of a way, because you're giving the idea only the power that you can give, the example that you can find in what it is that you have done. You got to look beyond that. And I think that reality, even if they say scientifically, reality seems to be composed of computer code, zeros and ones. This is what they say on a quantum level. When you look down to the smallest atom, the smallest particle, the smallest thing that you know a microscope can find, they find this computer code type of thing in zeros and ones. I happen to think that technology is actually being controlled by and in the hands of a society that understands the truth in reality being based on computer code. It's not a coincidence that these things kind of mirror something that we have seen in development. I think the people that developed this knew this. It's not a coincidence that they will stumble upon by accident the very things that might be at the root of the fabric of reality, this computer code, zeros and ones, the manifestation of real fucking quote unquote real matter, the physical world, right? So considering that, I'd have to give all of the power in the manifestation of reality to the idea that consciousness may go on after life. You can turn the PlayStation off, but your Wi-Fi and your login password and your profile still exists. It's all still there. You can upload it to a whole nother PlayStation. If you break this one or retire it, don't want it no more, they come out with a new one. And I think that you can also forever access a world of possibilities and opportunities through your Wi-Fi file, through some kind of level of immortality. And I think that in a way that we are immortal. I think we're part of a consciousness that has to always be here. So the part in your life that you are really emotionally dependent on and attached to is your physical body. That's the part that you don't want to be damaged, broken, destroyed, because then you don't know where the Wi-Fi signal is going to go. But I think if you smash my PlayStation, I could just buy another one. My profile is still there, and then I can just log into it and go, damn, there it is. Then some people say, well, if this is the case, and you're saying like your life experiences are being influenced by a past life or past lives, probably multiple. I mean, shit, we got nothing but eternity. Like, time has to always exist because nothing would have created it. And some people can't reconcile that. They don't sit right with people, because then you go, well, where did the time come from? Like, you have to have that prime mover, that first thing, that one thing. And that one thing, I can't say first thing, because then that implies like a time where it wasn't here. But I think that time is always here. The great consciousness is always here. But to show respect to that great consciousness, you have to give yourself to the idea and the possibility of what eternity really means. Like, okay, let's say you turn on Grand Theft Auto, right? If you're a Grand Theft Auto player, I like Grand Theft Auto. Let's say you turn on Grand Theft Auto, right? When you turn that game on, there's nothing that you can do in an hour of playing that game that you can repeat. You're not gonna fire the same shots. The shells won't appear to be fucking falling from the gun in the same way. You're not gonna kill the same players at the same time. You can't mirror and copy an hour of playing that game or no fucking game. You can't copy it. It's never gonna be identical. But at the same time, the game is completely prepared and capable of manifesting the exact same hour of gameplay all the way down to the greatest fucking detail, missing absolutely nothing. It's got the potential to do that because anything is possible in the game, and yet still you can't make it happen. You couldn't imagine making it happen. You wouldn't try to make it happen and be retarded. You fail right away. You never get far at all with doing it. Every camera swing in motion, every run, stutter step, back step, shot by, none of you, you're never going to match it, right? It sounds ridiculous to even try to imagine that somebody could or would. When you take life that serious in that way, here comes the appreciation for what it is that you do, what it is that everybody around you do, and then you appreciate how unique and how much of a one-of-a-kind thing it is for the right now to be whatever the right now is. Whatever the right now is, magical, bro, because it could have been anything at all. If you can appreciate it on a wholesome surface level like that, then you can start taking seriously what it is that you do in life and what it is that somebody do to your ass in life. That's why government and religious control and shit, I very much despise what it is that they've done. But mostly only on the surface, because there is a level of acceptance of all that, like with the acceptance of my own death and the fact that I can't change certain things. This turns my pain and suffering, because it is that, of what society has done to me when they kind of corner my life into a certain kind of a thing, and then watch me while I, in my naivete, in my ignorance, in my sheltered perspectives, being lost in my emotions, childhood traumas, and all these other things. In the midst of all of that, society says, respond, even predictably, because everything's been formulated so that you guys have mostly predictable responses to what it is that life is. We need you to be predictable so that we know you're going to buy this shit tomorrow. We know you're going to buy the 2026 Mercedes-Benz. We already fucking know you are. 27, 28. We already know you are, motherfucker. Yeah, you are. You're going to buy shit, and we're going to feel comfortable making it. You're going to buy it. You got to be predictable like that to make the money thing happen. And the programming and influence that it takes to make you that way is very directly the blame in the fact that you can't sit a 12-year-old child down and talk about death without them crying, or being confused, or without them being all ears and having no input. In a more wise and focused society, there would have been time and energy and space, a safe space of peace, clarity, and emotional stability for a 10, 12-year-old child to sit down with their father and grandfather and talk about the notion of death and what that could possibly mean, and what to do in the face of your inevitable death. I think it's way more important than talking sports or other things, because I think that what you create inside the mind of a child, they can understand death in a healthy, wholesome way, especially in a world where they can see so many people dying on social media. See, this is what I'm saying. All of these things, if they were urgent business by the ones who create the censorship, they would quickly offer healthy remedies to combat these things by promoting healthy mental and emotional stability inside the minds of the children that will one day be the adults. And I think inside of that, you have to promote healthy spiritual awareness and acceptance of death, and so that you can take a position to not be the reason why somebody's dying later in life. You need a healthy perspective in that. And I think that if you make a 12-year-old child very healthy in his understanding of the inevitability of his or her death, in accordance with like a healthy emotional position from that child, I think you can make it, you can hypnotize the child into absolutely refusing to ever hurt somebody else outside of defense, right? And if you create enough of this in the world, and defense is the only means, the only respectable means of violence, it has to be defensive. If that was the case for real, situations that call for people to defend themselves like that would be minimized, and then it would almost happen. Then you go, oh my God, look at that fucking fall into a snowball effect of positivity where the negativity can't live, because the less we rely on the negativity as a tool to propel what we want y'all to believe is good, the less we do that, the less likely it is for defensive means that lead to more of the violence, because violence will only beget more violence. Motherfucker, you be violent to me when I want to be peaceful. We just gonna double the violence around this bitch. I'm gonna get violent with you no matter what it is that I wanted. And you just gonna get the violence though. You see what I'm saying? And I got a right to feel like that, and it's a shame that the world makes me feel like that so much. Right? But we're all being distracted and hypnotized to these things, man. They want us to react in this way about this shit. And that's sad, bro, because I'm going to tote my gun and bust it if I had to. But I know I wish that it wasn't the case at all, that it had to be like that. But it is, though, and I'll happily accept it all with a gun on my hip. Bro, this is just what it is right now. This is what it's come to, right? What I say about me painting a self-portrait, learning the fucking foreign languages in the meadow with the grass, yo, the tall grass, while my kids are playing hide and seek, right? And we should be going from one language to the next, man. 5, 6, 7 languages. As we enjoy each other's company and converse and play and laugh and do all of the hugs, right? And all of the stargazing in the fields and the meadows with peace, bro, with no fear of paying for energy that we could have mastered by now. Y'all play too fucking much. Y'all can master the free energy y'all are playing. I don't care what nobody says, and I take offense to it. I don't want to just say it in a meme to say that, you know, they playing about the fucking free energy. I'm telling you that I think that they deserve a fight from us because of it, because we should be offended that much about it, and we should say it like loud and proud and say it often, and take great offense to that shit, because I shouldn't have to work and spend my time away from my kids to pay for the fact that I want the lights to come on in the house at nighttime so that I can see what I'm doing. It's kind of ridiculous, bro. And then you appreciate the fact that you can do it because this is the game that was given to you, and you don't know what else to do, so you stop thinking that you just go to work and pay the bill. But fuck a lying energy of the Lane County fucking metropolitan area around this bitch for your exorbitant prices for simple fucking energy. Y'all are some bitches, and whoever fucking makes it this way when nuclear energy could be used for energy purposes, they can lighten the load of what we got going on, right? Even the wind energy with the windmills and shit is so damaging to the environment. I know that y'all are playing games because Nikola Tesla, the real Nikola Tesla, not that Elon Musk pussy shit, that what he got going on with these bullshit cars and the batteries and what it takes for him to get to the batteries, and the batteries catch on fire, and nobody's fucking hazmat trained enough to deal with a fire that's being produced by the elements inside of these batteries. Everybody show up with they fucking hand up each other's asses. They ain't know how to put the fires out. These cars catch fire, they burn holes into the ground. Fuck out of here. Elon Musk, you a pussy, bro. I knew when you showed up and they let you rock that you must have been one of them. Because every time somebody come up with the best way to free people of the fucking energy and lighten the load and the burden of environmental hazards and the fucking work and stress behind even paying for the fucking energy. Y'all want to lighten our load about that shit? No, the fuck you didn't. Digging this fucking bullshit up in other countries with slave labor, like it's, bro, y'all never moved away from none of that shit, bro. Y'all see what they got to do to get this lithium out the fucking ground. You go, man, that's crazy, bro. This looks like slavery and crazy. How y'all got these kids and these other people working right alongside this heavy duty fucking construction equipment that's taking all of this diesel to do all of this shit so y'all can get the lithium batteries, so this fucking cappuccino sipping jerk can feel like he's doing his part to save the environment because he bought a Tesla? You pussy? Y'all tweaking. Y'all bugging. When Elon stepped on the scene, I was like, he one of them, because they would have smoked him if he was the real deal. They smoke everybody who got a better way to fucking move this car from A to B. Water, steam, bro. Steam. Either economically sound vehicles that are fucking sold for the low because they made with materials that are going to fucking break down, and you know that, instead of trying to sell me $100,000 fucking car that's going to have a fucking recall in 6 months because y'all fucked up somewhere. And you're never going to build a fucking car for me that's supposed to last, right? Y'all give me the oil that's engineered to be temporary, right? Y'all can think of better tires than this. I know you can. You can move this shit on something better, right? Y'all dragging y'all feet, man, playing obsolescence and all type of shit around this bitch. When y'all know what 2050 gonna look like. Y'all tell me politically y'all know what it's gonna look like all the time, right? I will own nothing and be happy. Klaus Schwab, why are you still vertical? Lay your ass down, bro. Go into the fucking Chikai Bardo, bro. Go into the afterlife. Why are you still here? buck, right? This is what they do, bro. All of these distractions and manipulating and playing the game when the whole time y'all could be manifesting something that look more like a utopian society. Even if it fails, is better than this. Aim that way. To not do that is psychotic. You're crazy. You've given in to a narrative they want you to find so that you can play your part so that it all unfolds in the way they want it to. You want peace on earth and a one and a unity with humanity. We are all one. They're going to give you the one in a one world government and a one world religion. You're already worshiping Lucifer right now already, and y'all don't even know it. And when somebody tell you that you are, you act like they must be lying in a way you got fooled. It's easier to convince people that they have been. No, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. That was Mark Twain, was it? I'm not sure. I don't know. I be forgetting shit. If it wasn't Mark Twain, then Mark Twain said some dope shit that might be suitable for me to fucking say right now. I don't know. But somebody with some nice wordplay said some shit like that, and I believe it. If you tell people that their entire lives are built on a lie, so that reality can be manifested in the control of just a few fucking people in comparison, like it's a handful of them. If we knew who was running the world for real, I think you can get gangbangers nationwide would fuck them up. If all the gangbangers said, we are willing to kill or be killed only to chase down whoever is in control of the world, because we think it'll be cool to just kill the control system. And that's all we're going to do now. If gangbangers in America said that that's what they were doing and nothing else, they stopped fighting each other and they focused that way, they went, who run the world? We're going to kill them and see what happens. We're going to see what happens after that. If they did that, the world would be different overnight. And I'm not saying that I think that they should do that. I'm just saying it's kind of crazy that they're willing to die for what they believe are powerful things. But I think it'd be powerful to die to save the world. I think that's awesome. If dying in the streets about whatever you got going on is fucking cool to you, I think it would be cooler if you died thinking you were saving the world. That sounds way cooler. I don't care what you say. Crip blood, I don't care. If you thought you were dying to save the world, people couldn't blame you. I would understand why your energy was like that. And I would wish you the best of luck. And I would also be observant enough to know if you were on a wild goose chase, or if you wanted to be a martyr for something that made sense. I would know if it made sense to me or not, or if it was legit or not, or if it sounded like it would make an awesome Quentin Tarantino movie. I would know if that's what I was dealing with or not. If Crips and Bloods and GDs and Vice Lords and all the Latin Kings and shit, and if they all said, we